I'm Jacqueline A. Olarte, and I will be reporting about the managing the market mix. So, once a company estimates a country's market potential, it must calculate how well it is doing there and how it might do better. And there is a useful tool for this, and this is the gap analysis. So, gap analysis it is a method for estimating a company's potential sales by identifying prospective customers it could serve more adequately, or it is also known as a method of assessing the differences between the actual performance and expected performance in an organization or a business. So, the term gap, it refers to the space between where we are, which is the present state, and where you want to be, which is the target state. So, consider hypothetically, as an organization, you manufacture a product, and that product reach the target audience in the market, and also that product has all the qualities that fit to excel in the market. It has the right features, the pricing margin, and the demand. But for some reason, the product didn't click well in the market. And this is where the gap analysis will play a crucial role in understanding where the product is and what it lacks, where the product needs to be in order to secure its place in the market and to give a top fight to any competitors that offers the same product as them. So, while the term gap analysis relatively straightforward, as it how refers to looking where we are and comparing it where you want to be, there are different approaches that needs to be considered. Depends on the content and niche of the analysis. And also, there are different types of gaps that is pretty straightforward. And these are the performance gap, the product market gap, the profit gap, and the manpower gap. So these four are the types of gap analysis. First is the performance gap. So performance gap, this is the difference between expected performance and the actual performance. So this is the most common understanding of the gap analysis. It refers to the high-level analysis of general or specific company goals, how far a company has come in terms of completed goals, and what it still needs to do on the remaining ones. Next is the product or market gap. This is the gap between the budgeted sales and the actual sales. Think of it as a way of to research sales opportunities in which demand is higher than the supply, and it can be performed either internally or externally. And also, this is different from market research. It's because, unlike in market research, the market gap analysis is proactive as opposed to reactive, which means keeping one step ahead of the market and not allowing any sudden and unexpected changes that may influence your strategy. Next, the third one is the profit gap. This is the variance between the targeted and actual profit of the company. And so when the profit forecasting are overshot, the gap analysis being performed helps you to understand what went wrong. And there are factors that can impact the profit, such as the aggressive competition, and also the shifting market trends and the unforeseen political implications. The fourth one is the manpower gap, which is the difference between the actual strength of the organization and quantity and the required number of workforces. So, in this fourth type of gap analysis, no matter what the size of the organization, performing a gap analysis will help you to make more informed decisions regarding the staffing and budgeting of the organization. And also, the results can give you an invaluable insight that is best to utilize the employee skills, tying them down directly to strategic and performance objectives. So, in the book, it only includes, it emphasizes the product market gap, which is, it has also sub-levels or different types of gap, which are the product line gap, the distribution gap, and usage gap, and lastly is the competitive gap. So this is what just I'm going to discuss to you, since it is what is emphasized in the PDF. So when we say product line, it represents losses to competitors who have product variations the company lacks. So in this gap, the company lacks product line variations. Like for example, you produce or you manufacture a product which is chocolates. Some chocolates are sugar-free and some are not sugar-free. And also in milk, there are non-fat milk and there is also a fat milk. So it varies. Maybe the competitors has that kind of product line, but in your company you don't have that. It may be one factor. Second is the distribution gap. So it represents losses to competitors who distribute where the company does not. So it might be one factor or one gap where the company misses a geographical or the type of outlet that the company wasn't able to find. So maybe in some places you weren't able to distribute because of some circumstances that you face, and that's where the distribution gap happens. Next is the usage gap. So the growth potential for all customers in the market for the relevant period. In the usage gap, the companies have different size gaps in different markets. So maybe in that place or in that country, the usage of that product is, they doesn't use that always. Sometimes that's why it is being affected to your product and to your company. Last is the competitive gap. The remaining unexplained sales lost to competitors who may have a better image or lower prices. So this is the gap that can't be explained either by product line and distribution. Maybe your competitor have higher sales, maybe because of their advertising campaigns, maybe of their lower prices or goodwills, and many other factors that you don't know of, why they have much higher sales than yours. And lastly, gap analysis is a tool that helps the companies to determine why they have not met their market potential for that given countries, and to decide which element or which part of the marketing mix to be emphasized, whether it was the price or the product or the distribution or the packaging. Whatever is the element that needs to be enhanced, that is where gap analysis will help you to determine that. And all in all, simply put, that gap analysis is a tool designed to help you understand where you are and what you need to do in order to get where you want to be. And that's all for my report. Thank you and power.